So this is Indigo Perry, the coordinator from COTTS. So what are your daily routines at COTTS?
Well, I'm the volunteer coordinator for COTTS, and right now I'm also the holiday coordinator. So my daily routines are to make sure that all of the programs in COTTS, like the Petaluma Kitchen, the Rent Right program, that all the programs in COTTS have enough volunteers staffing all the duties to make sure that everything gets done, because our staff here is very small, and so most of the departments depend on volunteers to get everything done.
Okay. What did they do before coming to COTTS, and how do they end up here?
The people who, what did they do? Well, some of them may have been living on the streets before they came to COTTS. Others maybe had a really terrible accident and lost their jobs and lost their houses and lost their cars, and so they had nowhere to go, and so they wound up at COTTS. There are, it's not just, we tend to have the assumption that people who are homeless are perhaps lazy or not doing enough, and that's not always the case at all.
Okay. Do they have friends or family that come here often? Check on them?
I'm not so sure, but we protect people's privacy here at COTTS. So if some family member was to call up and say, is so-and-so there, we wouldn't tell them even if we knew, because we're protecting everyone's privacy here. And so maybe sometimes I may see a friend or a family member coming by to like pick somebody up and take them out somewhere or do something, but they don't tend to come and socialize here at the Mary Isaac Center.
How long does it normally take for a person who's taken by COTTS to get a housing?
It varies. Some people who come through our program, if they're really ready to make a change, the single people have up to 6 months to stay here and get their lives back together. So we're hoping that by the time 6 months has gone by, they've got a job, they're saving a little money, and then they can transition into one of our houses where they're sharing with other COTTS members. Some people may go through that whole routine, and then something will happen and they'll find themselves back on the streets again. So maybe it can take 6 months, anywhere up to many, many years before somebody actually finds housing stably.
From 1 to 10, are people safe at COTTS?
Yeah, people are safe here. There's very few incidents. Like, I've been here for 3.5 years, and I almost never see an incident here. But part of it is because the residents here at the Mary Isaac Center, and also what we call the day use people, the people who don't live here but they come to take a shower or have a meal or wash their clothes or something like that, they're very grateful for the Mary Isaac Center. And so if somebody starts to get out of hand, they'll come along and just try and calm the person down, make sure that everything is going okay, because they're very grateful for this circumstance and they want it to be here.
Does COTTS supply clothing?
Yes, we get a lot of clothing. In fact, almost all of our clothing comes from donations from the community. And so our residents, and also, as I said, the day use people who don't live here but use our services, are all allowed. They put the clothes out every day for people to look through and take what they want, and then if there is stuff left over after a week or two, then we donate what's left over to the Goodwill and other places so that everybody can make sure they have nice clothes.
Do you guys set up like fun activities like bingo?
Not so much. More we make them keep their nose to the grindstone. Are they looking for a job? Are they, taking care of their health? Things like that. But you'll see a number of them on any day, like sitting in the dining room here playing cards or, playing Scrabble or whatever. But we don't generally set those kinds of things up. They have movies many nights every week here in the dining room. They can all get together and watch a movie. That we do. Or like when the World Series was on, everybody was out there watching the World Series. But we don't, other than that, we don't really set up too much.
what should people know about being homeless?
About being homeless? Well, I think it's probably much of what I said before, is that sometimes because we have a little bit of, because we're not homeless and we have a little bit of privilege, um, maybe people might think that homeless people just don't want to get a job, or they're lazy or something like that, and that's not really the case. One of the reasons why I came to work at COTTS was because my brother had been homeless for many years. And that really opened up my eyes to the fact that homeless people can be very kind, very generous. Maybe sometimes they have mental health issues, and so something's not quite right that makes it harder for them to get a job or harder for them to stay in an apartment. And sometimes, you find homeless people that, just want you to give them something, and that's it. The range is as broad as it is for people like you and me in the everyday world. So.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Appreciate it.
Okay.